¿Cómo está? Bien, bien. I did something terrible. I spoke to Spanish men. I lived in the deep south in a town called Rum Gully. This was about 5 minutes from Islington, which was how the locals pronounced it. It was actually spelled on the sign Islandton. It was a hot spot of the Deep South during Prohibition because there were very, very small islands in the middle of the swamp that this tiny town was built on where they ran their moonshine stills. And so Rum Gully was where you could buy the alcohol, and Islington was where it was made. Right outside of Islington was Walterboro with 2 bars and 1 cop. Good luck with you and your DUIs. Anyway, so I was a horse trainer. I was originally from Charleston, and I kept moving deeper and deeper into the South. That's where I was born. I absolutely didn't belong there. So I am in the Deep South, 20 minutes from the Crooked Horse Auction. So Friday and Saturday night, they'd run the horses through. On Monday and Tuesday, I'd get calls. Is your husband there? I'm looking for the trainer. No, it's me, a girl. I'm the trainer. Well, I think my horse was drugged. Can you help me? Absolutely. So I'd be getting wild Mustangs and things that would kick your face off. And I'd train them in 30 days and send them home for $350. Those were the good old days. If I wasn't at the horse auction, I was at the bar. I didn't drink, but I went there for amusement. And one of the terrible things I did was dare learn Spanish. And mind you, not only did I learn it, but I used it. So one day I am at the bar. It is a Saturday evening, about 10 o'clock. And in South Carolina, I don't know if the laws are still like this, but all the bars had to close down at 12 because alcohol was not allowed to be served on Sundays in certain counties. But if you were a private club, then you could stay open till 2 a.m. And I'm standing in line, and I'm just chatting up with some nice Spanish gentlemen. These great shiny cowboy boots, and I'm in my pretty little dress and having a grand time. And I walk through the door, and there was a composition notebook all covered in vomit and various questionable stains, and you'd sign your name, and that was good enough for the private club, and you got to go on in. Now, Chuck was the man that stood at the door, and Chuck looked like a salmon that had been given a rebel flag hat and a pair of jeans. He had like psoriasis from head to toe, and he just flaked everywhere, and everybody just kind of put up with it. Well, I go in the door, I sign my name, and then he stops the Mexican gentleman behind me, and he's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Are y'all a member? And they looked at me because they didn't speak a lot of English, and I asked them in Spanish, and they kind of looked at each other confused and shook their head. And, other people are filing past them, signing the notebook, and he was like, you got to go. And so I was like, hey, Chuck. I was like, so I'm a member, but I never got a card. And Chuck says, well, the thing is, we hadn't had cards since the 70s. You just got to sign your name. And I was like, well, Chuck, if I'm a member and I don't have a card, but can I have guests? And he's like, yeah, I don't care. Now his hat says the South's going to do it again. And I said, all right, Chuck. I said, well, how many guests can I have? And he's like, I don't care. And I was like, cool, all these Mexican fellas are with me. And he was mad. So all the little guys behind me signed their name on the book, and they hugged me and thanked me, which again was not allowed. You do not touch people of the other race or another color in the Deep South. And so here I am, a 20-something-year-old white girl, hugging all these guys. Have a great day. Have fun, dudes. And they walk off. Chuck is mad, like his skin is now extra red and it's flaking more. And I laugh, and as I go by, I'm like, hey, Chuck, what's the South gonna do again? Lose. And I walk by laughing just like that. And I go out onto the dance floor, and I am dancing, and I'm telling you what, there ain't nobody can dance better in the Deep South than a Mexican man. Boy, they are just flailing and dancing, and I'm just like, oh my God, they grab me and I'm dancing with them and everybody's staring at me, and zero fucks. I do not care. I don't belong here. Do not care. So I have a great time, and I'm dancing, and I start hearing people laugh, and I'm on the dance floor just doing my thing, And I turn, and some guy I don't know, like with his hat sideways, and he's like sitting in the chair. Well, he's holding up a sign that says, "This girl can't dance." Kryptonite. It is kryptonite. I was so ugly as a kid that everybody thought I was a boy. Like, I literally would go in the woods and pray, God, make me pretty, or at least make them stop making fun of me. I was so ugly. Kids would bark at me. They would spit on me at school. It was traumatic. And also, it was like the 90s, so zero fucks. Like, people could spit on you, and you were just like, well, cool, that's my life. Anyway, so it hurt my feelings super bad. And then, I grow up, I move away, I come to Virginia where nobody judges you based on your dancing ability or your skin tone. And that's what I just fell in love with this place. It was just so wide open and so modern compared to where I was from. So anyway, I, just exist. I'm married. I have a kid. I don't go anywhere. I don't go out, of course, So I'm just living my little life. My husband dies. Life changes. And one day I'm on Facebook and I see this ad for this local dance place, and they're teaching swing lessons. And I'm like, God, I would love to do that, but I just can't dance at all. And so I messaged the place and I'm like, hi, excuse me. Have you ever had anybody that danced so bad that you threw them out of the class? And the guy answers and he was like, no. And so I was like, all right, it was $5 and a 30-minute drive to Richmond. So I leave my little country house. I go to Richmond and I take my lessons, and I'm really scared. And I'm in a group of people and very sweet old men, and everybody's dancing and having a great time. And at the end of the day, or the end of the evening, the man that runs the dancing place comes up to me and he was like, you're really good. He was like, you've got some great basics and you did a really good job. And I was like, thank you so much. I just spent like a decade and a half convinced that I absolutely sucked at dancing. And he was like, what would give you that idea? 15 years. I walked around with the feeling that I absolutely sucked at dancing, that I was Elaine from Seinfeld, that I should be banned from all dance floors. And I trauma dumped on this man. And I said, I helped Mexican men get into a Deep South white people bar full of rednecks, and a man held up a sign. 15 years I held that belief when it was just Chuck. Chuck, a man with skin like a peeling salmon, who got mad that I let migrant workers into his shitty, dumpy bar. And he made somebody write "This girl can't dance" on a piece of loose leaf paper and hold it up at me. In my 20s, I carried that so long. What are you holding on to that is complete bullcrap? What stupid, horrible belief are you just toting around in a backpack of shame like a giant boulder of sadness that is complete crap because somebody else gave it to you? It blew me away that some dude in the South is going to do it again, rebel flag racist hat with bad skin, let me carry that belief for 15 years. What are you toting around that you need to drop that's not even anything to do with you? I'm sorry to the guy in Richmond that I trauma dumped on. But I am so happy that this happened so that I can come and tell you that, when I go out to clubs or concerts and I dance, people actually come up and they're like, oh, you're a great dancer. I don't believe them, but at least nobody's holding up a clipboard that tells me I suck. But it is just such a wild thing to carry around somebody else's jealousy, anger, hate, prejudice for all this time, and it never belonged to me in the first place. Put it down, go out there and dance. I'm just a girl sharing a story. If you guys actually want to read the story, it's called Never Gonna Dance Again, and it's on my website. It's called shannondoa.com, and please remember my name is misspelled, so it's Shannon DOA, which is always awkward. at vets' offices and the doctors and the hospital. Like, hey, I'm Shannon, dead on arrival. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope my misfortune taught you a little something. Please check out my website, read my stories. Again, it's called Never Gonna Dance Again, A Story of Perception.